The burial commences with a young girl who was diligently washing her garments in the bathroom. At that precise moment, she sensed an ominous presence lurking behind her. Upon turning around, she was confronted with a horrifying figure resembling an ancient witch, which caused Ada to let out a piercing scream. By the time her companions arrived to check on her near the mushroom, she was standing there as though her soul had been completely drained away. The narrative now transitions to events from 2 days prior, where Ada and her childhood companion Maya was planning to go on a hiking adventure with her brother and cousins, and she extended an invitation to Ada to accompany them. However, Ada was concerned that her mother might not grant her the necessary permission. While they were conversing, Ada ran her fingers through her hair, and a significant amount of hair came out, which left her feeling quite distressed. She discarded the hair, and the following day, we observe Maya visiting Ada's mother to request permission. Ultimately, Ada's mother consents, and Ada embarks on the hiking trip with Maya. She arrives to bid her farewell. At that precise moment, Maya notices a terrifying silhouette with glowing red eyes standing ominously behind Ada. Witnessing this, she becomes frightened and instinctively attempts to flee, bewilderedly glancing back, but she is unable to see anything there. Nonetheless, it became apparent that some malevolent energy had been dwelling within Ada's home, influencing both her physical and mental well-being. In any case, the subsequent scene depicts all the friends assembling at the location where they had intended to embark on their hiking adventure. They wanted to go to the place where they were supposed to go hiking. By the time they reached there, it was already night, so they decided to stay at a guest house. As night fell, Ada started having stomach pain and realized she had gotten her period. When she told Maya about it, Maya suggested they could go back home. Hiking on the mountain in such a condition wouldn't be advisable, but Ada refused. She had gotten permission with great difficulty and wanted to cherish these moments. She couldn't miss such a big opportunity for such a small reason. This was a chance that might not come again. Now Maya refrains from arguing with her any further, and Ada proceeds to the washroom to clean her clothes. It is at this moment that she encounters the terrifying apparition of the old ghost for the very first time. This is the identical scene that was depicted at the beginning of the movie. When she let out a scream, all her friends came rushing, and as she opened the door, it appeared as though someone had forcibly pulled her back. She wasn't speaking or responding, not even blinking her eyes. They all escorted her to the room and inquired about what had transpired. She explained that she had witnessed something peculiar in the washroom. I observed an unusual creature. It was exceptionally tall and slender, with hair as white as that of an elderly woman, and its eyes were glowing intensely like a red light bulb. When the proprietor of the guest house hears all of this, she becomes frightened and informs them that something quite similar was witnessed in this location many years ago, which made life quite miserable for individuals who visited this place. And subsequently, with the assistance of some influential individuals, we were able to successfully escape from that entity, and now if it has returned, it poses a significant threat. It is possible that if it has seen Ida, it has arrived here with her. Upon hearing this, everyone present becomes frightened, and one of the boys even proposes that we should send Ida back to her home. However, Maya was against that idea because she understood how thrilled Ida was for this journey, and that she might never receive permission again. At this moment, a variety of thoughts come to mind, and regular Subhash. When they all rise so much, her mood was such that no one could tell that anything had happened to her the previous night. Everyone picked up their bags and started trekking. As they admired the beauty of the mountains, Maya and the others got lost in it. Some even regretted not bringing their cameras from home. Meanwhile, at Ada's house, we see Ada's mom. While cleaning, she finds a lot of hair and blood-stained tissues in Ada's trash bin, which worries her. She plans to tell Ada's dad, but he dismisses it, saying not to worry about small things and that if Ada falls sick, they should take her to the doctor. Avoid exaggerating minor issues. If her condition worsens, consult a medical professional. During the trek, Ada unexpectedly begins to feel extremely exhausted. She becomes short of breath, and when she pauses to rest, her eyes suddenly appear unusual. Observing her state, everyone becomes concerned, and when Maya gently murmurs her name in her ear, she abruptly regains consciousness. Once she recuperates, they proceed with their trek, and midway through, they pause to take a breather for a moment. At this juncture, when everyone, while they were drinking water and joking around, Ada quietly got up, left from there, and went near a nearby jail. When Maya saw this, she followed her and said to Ada, "It's not right to go anywhere alone like this. You should understand that this place isn't that safe." As soon as she pivots towards her, Maya is utterly startled to observe that her hands had transformed to an eerie black reminiscent of a witch's and had elongated significantly, while her eyes had turned entirely white. With a peculiar and unsettling smile, she seizes Maya's throat. Maya's piercing screams summon all the boys to the scene and they struggle desperately to liberate Maya from Ada's grip. The moment Ada releases Maya, Maya notices a towering ancient entity standing in the center of the clearing, adorned in white garments. Her hair was completely disheveled, and her crimson eyes were gleaming just like the entity's eyes that Ada had not witnessed. At that moment, no one except Maya could perceive her. In any case, they escort Ada back to their location. They revive her by making her inhale something. Ada had completed a task. When they inquired about it, she couldn't recall anything. Our leader remarked, "I have a feeling that a spirit has possessed you," implying that some soul has taken control over you. Upon hearing this, she begins laughing loudly and says, "You're absolutely crazy, watching far too many movies with me." "You have been watching too many movies with them. Nothing like that can possess humans." Seeing her condition, everyone was scared at that time. Everyone is engaged in a debate about whether they should conclude the trek at this point or proceed to ascend to the summit of the mountain. Upon hearing this, Reta becomes quite angry and exclaims, "I will most certainly climb to the top outside. This is my first and last opportunity, so I won't let it slip away. But don't worry everyone, it's merely a small hill. We'll ascend it soon." This instills courage in everyone, and they commence their journey. As they climb upward, after covering just a short distance, it feels as if their gait is running away. At that particular location, they perceived the laughter of a young child, which frightened everyone considerably, and Maya even observed that shadowy figure. Maya chose to disregard it and proceeded with the journey alongside everyone. A short distance further along, Maya noticed an elderly man standing on the pathway, and upon reaching him, they heard an extremely terrifying noise. The sound was so overwhelmingly loud that their ears began to ache, compelling them to cover their ears. Ultimately, everyone lost consciousness, and when they regained consciousness, Maya saw that the old man had already left. The boys present there started saying that strange things were happening to Ada because she was on her period. In such conditions, girls attract a lot of negative energies, and that's why these strange things were happening to them. Hearing this, Ada looked at them happily and ignored their words, and they all continued their journey. They had only gone a little further when Ada's condition started to worsen again. They sat her down and gave her some water. As she was sipping the water, wrinkles gradually began to form on her forehead. Her face started to deteriorate, and so did her entire body. Her lips turned an ashen shade, and she smiled in a manner that suggested someone else had taken control of her. The boy, who persistently insisted on leaving her behind, remarked that if her condition continued to remain the same, they would not be able to conquer the mountain. As he uttered these words, her body began convulsing, and she started laughing in such a terrifying manner that her laughter echoed throughout the mountain's dense forests. Everyone else was filled with fear as well. It was agreed that Ada's mental condition was not well either. Therefore, they decided that everyone, including Ada, should return. Hearing this with wide eyes and in a strange manner, she tells them all to leave. She insists that she will conquer this mountain because it has become hers. As she says these things, blood fills her eyes. Everyone steps back in fear, and Maya realizes that the entity was watching Ada from outside. It had not entered but had taken over Ada. Ada tells everyone, "I will go up. I will proceed. And anyone who obstructs my path, I shall eliminate them." Uttering these words, she embarks on her solitary journey. Everyone observes her departure, and before anyone can comprehend, she vanishes from their view, leaving Maya standing bewildered. She noticed that from afar, an elderly woman continued to watch over them, and this elderly woman was visible solely to Maya and no one else. At this moment, it is unveiled that Maya possessed a superpower. Her spiritual eye or third eye had opened, allowing her to see all the entities or other creatures. So, from the start of the movie until now, all the entertainment was visible only to Maya. These are entities that are impossible for ordinary people to see. In this scene, Maya swiftly instructs all her brothers and cousins to pursue Ada. Upon reaching Ada, Maya dashes towards her and begins to prevent her from advancing further. During this moment, tears were streaming down Maya's face, and amidst her sobbing, Ahmada from Ahmedabad expressed that this journey would undoubtedly become the most unforgettable experience of his life, and he simply cannot abandon it unfinished. Now, Maya also persuades the cousin who was urging everyone to retreat. In agreement with her, they collectively resolved to triumph over the peak. As they were ascending the mountain, they earnestly hoped that everything would eventually return to its usual state. Each individual made this heartfelt wish and commenced their upward climb. As they ascended to greater altitudes, it appeared as though their condition was deteriorating. However, Ada maintained her composure and continued her ascent, and ultimately, they succeeded in reaching the summit, which was approximately 3,000 meters in elevation. By that time, it was already night. They established their camp there and began to rest. As soon as they settled in, Ada's condition began to worsen once more. Her body was such that it seemed as though an external force had taken over her body. Shortly thereafter, she collapsed and her entire body began to convulse violently. Upon hearing her cries, everyone emerged from their tents. They were unable to handle Ada's condition. Consequently, they all descended to seek assistance from the vicinity, where they discovered a man residing nearby. The man accompanied them back to their tent and, upon observing Ada's state, murmured something into her ear, which resulted in Ada's eyes turning a deep black. Her entire face's veins transformed into a vivid blue hue. Her body contorted in such a manner that it seemed as though all her bones might fracture. As these occurrences began to intensify, the man commenced reciting what he had previously read aloud, and all of a sudden, Ada reverted to her normal state. It appeared as if whatever entity had taken control of Ada had departed from her body. At this juncture, the scene transitions to reveal Ada's mother at home, who was engaged in prayer at that moment. She was deeply engrossed in her reading when she suddenly sensed as though someone was intensely staring at her, despite the fact that there was absolutely no one else present in the house. When she conveyed this unsettling feeling to her husband, he merely dismissed it with humor. Subsequently, we observe Ada once more within the tank, where she unexpectedly begins to levitate during her slumber. Her facial features transform to resemble the girl we have consistently observed alongside Ada. Maya awakens in terror, and it becomes evident that it was entirely Maya's actions. But what exactly did she perceive that Ada? Before she clung to her, but wasn't with her. She went outside to look for Haida and soon spotted Sahada. As soon as she called out to Ada, Ada turned towards her. But now Ada's face was not her own. What Mahani had seen in her dreams was actually happening, and Maya realized that at this time Ada was once again under the possession of some entity or demon. She was in its control. Maya slapped Ada a few times, and as soon as Ada regained consciousness, they took her to their tank. Eventually, morning arrived. Everyone gathered their belongings and began getting ready to depart. Maya observed that Adam was not present with the group. While she was searching for Ada, she discovered her, and Ada expressed, "I don't feel inclined to leave this place. It feels as though Monterey is my true home. The tranquility I'm experiencing here is something I've never encountered before." Prior to leaving, Ada paused for a moment, gazing at a sizable rock, and murmured something while looking at it. Maya speculated that Ada might be speaking about the same issues that had been bothering her. She doesn't say anything, and the people with the cars arrive. Their return journey was completely normal, and finally, they were back in their city. Maya, along with her brother and cousins, came to drop Aida at her house. As soon as she got home, Aida didn't even meet her mom and went straight inside, which made her mom feel quite strange. As the night deepened, Aida's condition started to deteriorate again. Her body began to shake violently, and she started laughing like a mad person. Her laughter was frightening. Seeing her in such a state, Mo was so frightened that they called the teacher from the mosque. He recited something over Ada, but nothing he said seemed to have any effect on her. So, Ada's mom and dad took her to the hospital, but even there, her condition did not improve. The doctors were unable to treat her because they couldn't even understand her illness. When Maya and her brother came to the hospital to meet Ada, Ada's dad was very angry. He even scolded Maya and her brother, saying that all of this happened because of Maya. It was because of Maya's insistence that Ada went to the mountains with them, and since returning, her health has been continuously deteriorating. He tells her that if you hadn't suggested she go trekking, perhaps my daughter would be fine today. He tells Kumar, either you... Certainly, I will address all of these issues, or I will proceed to file a formal complaint with the authorities. Maya was extremely distressed. None of these events were her responsibility. She was also troubled and distracted during her time at college. While she was present here, she remains in the hospital even today. As soon as the night progresses and reaches midnight, Ada once again encounters the same entity, the one she observed at the beginning of the film, the same slender, tall, elderly figure. As soon as Ada perceives it, her health declines once more. In the early morning, Maya arrives to visit her. Bringing along her breakfast, Maya converses with her extensively, and Ada shares with her about her condition, how she perceives terrifying things and bizarre visions. Maya listens attentively, but she believes that Ada is expressing all this because her mental state is not in a good condition. She shares all these details with her friends at school. Everyone becomes concerned, pondering why Ada has become like this. The following day, all the friends assemble to visit Ada. They also fervently pray for Anil to recuperate swiftly and return with them. While they are deeply engaged in conversation, Ada unexpectedly shifts to her left side and begins to open the door. She exclaims, "Look, it has returned once more, it's right there," yet nobody else could perceive anything near the door. Everyone attempted to reassure her that there was no one present by the door, but Ada was unable to convey to anyone what she was witnessing. Eventually, night descends, and during the night, Ada's health condition deteriorates significantly. Her body begins to convulse violently, she struggles to breathe, and when she vomits blood, she tragically passes away. As soon as her family and friends receive this devastating news, it strikes them deeply. Everyone residing around her home is in complete shock over Ada's sudden and unexpected death. It all transpired in just a few days. Merely 3 to 4 days ago, Ada appeared perfectly fine, and today she is no longer among them. Maya was in such a terrible state that even several months later, she was unable to forget her closest friend Ada. Ada's passing deeply disturbed Maya, and one significant reason for this was that Ada's father held Maya accountable for her condition. Every single night, they would discuss those dreams of Amada and the Vian Sahai of Orhada. As she continued to reminisce about her, one day she vividly recalled that when they were preparing to depart for their hiking trip, Ada's father had discreetly handed Ada a bundle and instructed her to dispose of it into the mountain lake. Ada proceeded to the mountain waterfall and discarded it there, and it was precisely at that very location that Maya witnessed that mysterious entity. Reflecting on all these events, she becomes frightened, and the following morning she goes and shares all these details with Ada's mother. Ada's mother was genuinely astonished and promptly approached her husband to inquire about what exactly was contained in the bottle he had handed to Ada that day. At this juncture, we uncover that Ada's father did not allow anyone to access a certain room. In her frustration, Ada ventured into that room and observed her father participating in a kind of unusual ritual, essentially engaging in black magic, and this is where all the elements of the story converge. This was the true problem. The dad's business was going really bad. It began to appear to her as though someone had cast a malevolent spell upon her, and once she discovered that an adversary was engaging in black magic against her, seeking vengeance, Ada's father also reached out to a sorcerer. The sorcerer conducted black magic and provided them with a doll, which they were instructed to discard at a considerable distance from their home. On the day Ada's father met with the sorcerer and returned home, that very evening, Ada was planning to go hiking. He entrusted this responsibility to Ada without realizing that the black magic he was attempting to cast could potentially backfire on them. This sorcery could potentially rebound and inflict harm upon their daughter or themselves. From the moment her father became entangled in this dark magic, Ata's well-being began to decline. Her hair commenced to fall out and blood started to flow from her mouth and nose. This indicates that the black magic Ada's father was attempting to cast upon another was rebounding upon them. When Mom discovers the entire story, she breaks down in tears. She says, "I had these expectations from you. You have harmed our daughter, but even here, Ada's father," and he commenced to articulate that this was never his original intention. He was endeavoring to rectify everything to safeguard his family. How could he have foreseen that this would culminate in losing their beloved Ada? Ada's father had now come to the realization that he had already received the consequences for the wrongful actions he had undertaken. Everyone had somewhat moved beyond Ada's demise. The same group of 6 companions returned to the mountain for hiking in Ada's memory, where at a specific juncture, Maya perceives Ada's silhouette, which causes her. She begins to engage in the activity. However, it becomes evident that Maya has not yet managed to forget Ada, and with this realization, the film concludes at this point.